what we're going to do here is work with textures. We're going to add textures to our images. Now I'm going to show you. You can find textures online anywhere. I will add a couple of links at the end of the video where I know you can find some textures, and basically you save them as an image file to your computer, and then this is how you work with them. So the first thing you want to do is simply open up the photo that you'd like to work with. So I'm going to select this image of Fisherman's Cove, and I'm going to restore it down because I want to work with two images in just a moment. So here's the photo that I'm going to work with, and we're going to add a texture to this image. So now I'm going to go and find my texture that I'd like to work with. I'm going to select this style here. Now the first thing you notice is that my image, my photo, the cove, is in portrait mode. My texture is in landscape mode. I want them to be the same. So the first thing I'm going to do is take my texture, I'm going to go to image and rotate canvas, and I'm simply going to select 90 degrees counterclockwise, and that will rotate my image to match that of my photo. The next thing you want to do is make sure that your texture, image, and your actual photo are of the same dimensions. So I'm going to check my photo first by going to image and image size, and then I'm going to notice my pixel dimensions. You can take note, you can write them down, memorize them, it's up to you. Once you've done that, click OK, go to your texture, do the same thing. Image, image size. Now, I've already had mine to be the same dimensions because usually my photos, when I convert them from RAW to TIFF file or JPEG, they come out to this pixel dimension. So all my textures are already preset for myself. If your texture is of a different height and width, simply go in and manually type in, just like this, the height and width that matches your image. And I'll show you why I do this. So once that's done, simply click OK, and now you know that your texture and your photo are of the same pixel dimensions. Next thing you want to do is go and select your Move tool right here. We're going to take our texture, click anywhere in the photo, hold down the mouse button, and simply drag the texture over to your photo, just like that. I usually minimize or close my texture. I'm actually going to close it. It'll ask you if you want to save your changes because we rotated the canvas. I'm not going to save it, but you can if you'd like. And I'm going to maximize this file. So what you want to do is simply click on your texture layer, which you'll see over here as layer 1, should be highlighted. So we're working with our texture layer, and with our Move tool still selected, you simply click on the texture, drag it over your image until it snaps into place, just like that. Now because we've got the dimensions the same as our photograph, the texture fits in nicely. So that's why I adjusted the image size. So now we're working with two layers. We have our background layer, which is the actual photo that we have taken, and we have layer 1, which you can actually name by double clicking in the text, and you can type in texture if you like. I normally don't bother naming my layers unless I'm working with them for a specific purpose. So with our texture layer highlighted, what we're going to do now is, if you notice up here where it says normal, this is the default blend mode. If you select that drop down menu, it'll show you a list of modes. Now mine should be over here, so I'm not sure why it's over in the middle of my photo, but simply select, for example, multiply. You'll notice now the effect this has on your photo. You can experiment with the different layers, and you'll notice some of them completely cover your image, which you don't want to work with those. You can, if that's your style, and some may be too bright. So simply go in and select one that you like. I'm going to choose multiply for this photo. Now you can see the texture in the background of the image gives it an old look, an old feel to it. You can go here and change the opacity as well. Right now it's set at 100%, that's the default setting. You can take it down to 50%, and you'll notice you can still see some of the texture in the background, but now you can see more of your image. So you can work with that as well. I'm going to take mine up to 75% for this photo. Now the other thing that I basically do is, if my image seems too dark now when I've added the texture, I will go to Image up above, and under the adjustments you will find curves. There's other ways to do this, but this is the way that I chose. Now the preset will come up. This is your curves box. Under the preset, there's a drop down menu, and there's different presets for your lighting basically. So I'm going to simply select lighter, and that will lighten my image. If I want to do it again, make it a little bit more lighter, then I will simply do the same thing, and that will brighten the photo. If your photo is too bright, for example, I'm going to go back and select my texture layer. If I select vivid light, there, you can see now it's pretty bright. It basically blows out our photo. You may not want to work with this blending mode, but if you do, you simply go back up to where the curves were at, under Image and Adjustments and Curves. Then you can go in your preset and select darker, and that will darken the image. So that's basically what I use to add a layer to my photograph. If you want to work with different layers, you can basically do the same process that we've just done, and you can go in and you can add a second layer to your image. So you can add 2 or 3 layers and see what different effects that you get, but I'm just going to show the one layer for this photo. Now if you just wanted to go ahead and add a second layer, I'll do it very quickly. I'm going to select my multiply again. So all you would do is go in, select a second layer, and follow the same steps that you had before. Adjust the size, change it to portrait mode or landscape mode, drag it over to your photo, and then work with the different blend modes and opacity, and see what different techniques and photos that you can come up with. So that's basically it, and I will include a couple of links where you can go and download some textures and save them to your computer to work with. Once you're done, simply go to File, Save As, and save your image, and that is it.